All right. Let's bring the volume down here a little bit. That should probably be low enough. Hopefully the sound balance is good. We're still figuring that out. I think Microsoft reset what my sound balance is supposed to be. So we'll be fishing around with that a little bit today. But hey guys, how you guys doing? We're gonna do some game design tonight. We're gonna work on the Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju campaign that we're building for Eberron, using our Bastion campaign mechanics that we've been developing here on stream. We're building a playtest system for Mecha Kaiju for Spelljammer and the Bastion turn system for D&D 5e24, as well as the orbital environment in Eberron, in orbit around, like between the moons, is asteroid clusters and colonies that exist in space that we can do Spelljammer stuff in Eberron with. So those are the different ideas that we're pooling together to build into a singular campaign that I plan on launching in February on my Discord channel, which is linked down below. Let me fix my screen here real quick and get my windows set up proper here. And then here's our chat window here. Okay, so the stuff that we're going to be looking at today, we have it all. The campaign, the actual campaign workbench, the kaiju and constructs, Eberron, Spelljammer, Bastion campaign is here. We built out our Dwarven Citadel, which we have mapped here. I don't necessarily like that map. Like I want to change that, but that's the rough idea of what a Dwarven Citadel looks like. It's each of these squares is a 50-foot square, so this is a 1,000-foot space. The 1,000-foot space is the largest space, or rather, 50-foot squares. This is a 500 by 500-foot square. Thank you. So a 500-foot space is the largest amount that a spelljamming helm can empower with the ability to fly. And as we discussed before, we're limiting the speed of our Spelljammer ships. So the, speed equals 10,000. Sorry, it's 500 per hour, is 1,000 per 2 hours. Yeah, 10,000 equals 10,000 miles per day. Or 500 miles per hour, which equals 1 orbital square per day, equals 1 regional map square per hour. So if we look here, if we collapse there's our mecha. Here's our Dwarven Citadel. Too many? No, yeah, that's the full thing. There we go. Here's the system map, and here is Eberron in the middle, and here are the paths of the moon that are in orbit around it. There's 12 moons of Eberron. These are the paths of destruction. So if you're in the way of the moon, eventually you're going to get smashed. So these are the clear zones, like the open spaces that can thrive between the moons. And as you can see here, we've got a few clusters that are figured out between these. And our team is here between Fernia, the plane of the moon that is connected to the plane of fire, and here Phrygia, which is the plane connected to the realm of ice. Between fire and ice is where we're situated at. Each one of these squares is 10,000 miles. Furthest out moon, 12, I forget which name the name of it. Number 12 is Volt, the Warder, Shavaroth, the Battleground. The Battleground is the furthest away, but everything's within 220,000 miles. That's roughly 22 squares away from Eberron is the edge of the system. It'll be twice that length to get to the astral sphere and then beyond, but this campaign is operating only within the scope of the orbit of Eberron. So we don't have the boundaries of the campaign is Shavaroth, the Battleground. This outer rim here is as far as I would ever anticipate anyone actually traveling in the campaign. If you do, you're way off script, because we're supposed to be protecting the communities located in this square here, located between the orbits of Fernia and Phrygia. which is the community, which doesn't have a formal name yet. But here's a zoom in of what this 10,000 mile square looks like. It's a 20 by 20 grid. So each square is 500 miles. And with our speeds for our Dwarven Citadel, at this scale, we can move 1 square per day with the maximum speed that we're providing for these airship slash spelljammers. And at this scale, 500 miles is your daily, your maximum distance per hour. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different asteroids here are large enough to have spherical gravity. So they're like small little planets that have forests and mountains and stuff like them as they are. But these are the 6 community, like actual community centers that your Dwarven Citadel defends. It acts as a sheriff that defends these different these different communities from kaiju, pirates, and extra dimensional threats. And then yeah, so it takes hours to get from here to here. So the mecha that the characters have that are aboard the Dwarven Citadel are 20 foot by 20 foot, basically gargantuan-sized golems that are piloted by our dwarf, gnome, and warforged characters. Those are the 3 races that we're using in this. It's a collection. This community here is a what would you say? It's a colony that was developed by Morhold, Zalargo, and Sire. Sire was destroyed by the Morning, of course, we all know that. But in my Eberron, the Warforged, all the Warforged that are sentient are souls that are recycled from Sire because they used to have a massive Warlock cult, which was where all of their inventions came from. They were given to them by the demon that they made a pact with. It provided them with technology and means of giving that technology sentience and time when they learn it. And that learning curve was the first cycle of Warlocks that died, got claimed by the god of machines, and then fed back to the Saren Warlocks to build their Warforged with. It's just recycled souls of Warlocks that have all died and then had their memory wiped and dropped in as blank souls to be rebuilt. One of our campaigns, one of the Warforged somehow realized that they were a lost siren, and so the whole campaign from level 1 to 20 was about the Warforged regaining their memory of who they used to be to decide for themselves where they should be in the world. And from there on forward, spin forward, then the Warforged, the sirens that weren't able to regain any status or didn't want to gain any status or any connection to their past life, became astronauts, basically, out in the asteroid belts and moons with the dwarves and the gnomes, initially just mining asteroid rocks to produce wealth. But once they started colonizing these little planetoids that could maintain cultivation for vegetation and crops and food and stuff, they started creating these little colonies. And now they're starting to run across all the other, like Droam is out here, Dargoon is out here, Karnath is out here. Everyone's staking claims to their own little clusters to colonize. And so the Pirates of the Lazar are out here now on their own spell jamming ships. So there's a lot of all the conflicts that you would expect on Eberron exist out here in the clusters. But the dynamics are changed depending on how strong they've built up and what kind of resources they can get from their home world. We're pretty much cut off and isolated at this point on our own. It's for whatever reason we've split from Eberron. Home world, so we're no longer connected there. Maybe there was some sort of purge with Sire, or Morhold got destroyed or was sieged and claimed. So now the gnomes, dwarves, and Warforged are out here in the clusters rebuilding society for themselves out here, while humans and Kalashtar are fighting on the home world and blah, blah, blah. So this is just a little slice of life in the larger campaign world that I've been running since 3rd edition. And this is where it's evolved to at this point. So we've been developing mecha kaiju mechanics. For those that are interested in seeing those, here's the actual Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document that we've already published on the DM's Guild. It has an extensive free preview. Be welcome to read the whole thing. God bless you if you're willing to purchase it to support more behavior, because we're going to further develop this. But we built out the 5e game engine to use normal 5e combat with the ships of Spelljammer by basically upscaling 5e combat to the 50-foot and 500-foot scale of maps to be able to fly around in. And so here you can see different ships at the 50-foot scale, which are referred to as vessels. They're in blocks of 50 feet, so like this nautiloid is 200 feet long, so it's a 4x4 space at the 50-foot scale. And then we have fighter craft down here, which are craft vessels, can be up to 500 feet in size, like our Dwarven Citadel. Fighter craft, or just craft in general, can be up to 50 feet in size, like this Warbird here. The Spiderling combat ship of Theurgy, it's 80 feet in size. This Manta Ray has an 80-foot wingspan and 75 feet deep. The Cuttlefish is 20 by 20. The skiff, the generic just utility skiff, it's 15 by 15, and a Goblin Arrow is also a 15 by 15. You can see here it has a harpoon flinger. It has a helm, a minor helm for a single pilot, and then it has this sharpened edge, which gives it the name of the Goblin Blade. So it can make melee attacks as strafing runs to cut across your ship, your rigging, your whatever. You can cut the ship apart one piece at a time by cleaving through it and ramming attacks. Or you can just ram to the side of the ship and stick to it, and then use that as a platform and then climb up onto the ship to attack it. So it's a really useful combat utility ship. Minor helms can pilot vehicles up to 50 feet in size, and they're only at 400 gold. They're super cheap to build. Like a Goblin Arrow like this would be like around 300 gold to make the Goblin Arrow, and then 400 gold for the helm, and then like 125 for the Harpoon Flinger, which we got from Descent into Avernus, doing 2d8 damage on a hit. And the whole assembly there is about 1,000 gold, will get you a Goblin Arrow. So if you had a Dargoon Mammoth Carrier, I transposed the Skro army from traditional 2nd edition Spelljammer. I just lift it and make it Dargoon. It's just the green skin army. It's Dargoon and the Connie from the past Goblin societies of Magitech. All the Connie artificers that work for the Dargoon. They work together to create the Skro army, right? So a mammoth carrier, a mammoth ship is basically a 500-foot scale ship carved in the shape of a woolly mammoth. That is basically just a carrier ship that just dumps shitloads of Goblin arrows onto its target. It's 1,000 gold per arrow. It's like 100,000 gold to make a mammoth. You can carry 100 arrows on a mammoth. There you go. So you can unleash like Battlestar or like a Star Destroyer, or you can just dump shitloads of fighter craft onto enemies to fight at the 50 and the 500-foot scale, doing normal combat like you would with Dungeons and Dragons, where the characters using actions, bonus actions, reactions, movement, and then your attacks has multiple attacks depending on it, and then you're commanding crews of siege weapon engineers to use their action economy. You're just issuing, as an attack, you're just issuing the order to fire. It's the weapon crew that then moves, aims, fire, and then reloads the weapon. And depending on the die roll that you get, determines whether or not they automatically reload the weapon or not to fire again, or if you have to waste additional action economy to help them reload the weapon so you can fire it again more quickly. So that's the base system, but instead of being animal shaped or ship shaped or like bird shaped or insect shapes, which are all organic living things, right? With this system, the mecha system that we're using the same rules as fightercraft that we already have in the Spelljammer book, but we're making them humanoid in shape. So instead of spiders having piercing rams for legs that they can stab things with, or like a wasp ship can stab things with a piercing ram as well, Instead, we make them human-shaped, and then we build colossal-sized weapons that they can then engage giant-sized creatures. Or like if I had a mecha pilot, like if we were fighting Illithid, the Illithid might come into the community with a single nautiloid ship, which is 200 feet in size, but on that nautiloid, it's carrying 15 scuttlefish. So it'll drop 15 cuttlefish off of it, which are just gargantuan-sized fighter craft. But they're gargantuan-sized sentient monster things with a lithid inside of them that are piloting. That's like massive danger. So these things are legitimate threats. So if we happen to roll up an Illithid Nautiloid, that'll be a fun encounter. You know, psychic blasts and shit like that coming at the characters. Or we could have Nyogi. But I'm thinking about having the traditional. In Eberron, Drow are scorpion worshippers, still arachnids, but scorpion worshippers, as opposed to the normal Forgotten Realms where the Drow are spider worshippers. So instead of Nyogi, we could have Drow, or like the Unseelie Court has taken over a realm, has taken over a region of the cluster. They're actually located over. Not here, sorry, wrong map. Boop, boop. They're located here. This is where the Unseelie Court has anchored themselves in the asteroid belts. The Pirates of Lazar are here. Droam has a colony here, and this is a friendly colony of oh hell, I don't know what it is. Oops, wrong button. Just happened. Oh, weird. I opened up the wrong map. Thanks. Yeah. So enemy territories. We haven't defined what this neighboring ally is, but this is where we would get more spelljamming helms from. We can't create spelljamming helms ourselves yet. Not until we get 3rd rank. We're currently 2nd rank at 5th level right now. We're going to go till 13th, maybe 14th level in the campaign. So we'll go from 5th to 9th level. 9th level is when we gain 3rd rank. That's when we can upgrade all of our facilities and our fortresses and all our communities. And then at 13th level, we can upgrade to 4th rank. At 3rd rank, that's at 2nd rank, you can build minor helms for fighter craft. At 3rd rank, we can build major helms. It'll take like 4 Bastion turns to do it, but we can produce them, or we could go buy them. We'll have a high enough economic commerce capacity to go trade for spelljamming helms. But this would be where we would get them from, or we have to jack them from Lazar Pirates, or somehow from Droam, or we don't know anything about this community yet either, but they're friendly. And then all these other squares that aren't marked could be independent territories, could be filled with monsters, could have new factions creating colonies that we just aren't aware of yet. Right now, they're just wilderness, quote unquote, wilderness in the asteroids. So this is the Spelljamming book, which is here on DMsGuild, which is linked down here, right there. And then we have the kaiju. We're going to be using this today to develop our what we have access to. And then the other book that we're going to need right now is the Spelljammer. There we go. This is the Kaiju and Constructs book. This is the mechanics that we have built out so far for the converting fightercraft into humanoid shapes. So I believe how we're going to work this is, let's see, cargo and towing limits. We're going to build out mecha first, and then we'll build out kaiju second. So I'm going to peel this out of its own window here to drop it down. And we're going to go over just some mecha stuff for the ships right now. And then we're going to start building out our options. Because we're 5th level, it means we get to start at 2nd rank. We have a 2nd rank workshop, and we have a 2nd rank mecha hangar in our Dwarven Citadel. So we know that the mecha can hold up to 10 squares of mechs, plus decent 10 squares is at the is at the 50-foot scale. So if we go look at our Dwarven Citadel map real quick, here's our fortress. Here's our Dwarven Citadel. That's 500 feet in size there. I don't necessarily like how it looks. I'm going to make it more mountainy looking, a little more rough hewn. But here's our internals. So here's our hangar that basically has a back gate and a front gate, so you can just literally fly through the back of the head and out of the mouth of the dwarf if you wanted to. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10. We have guaranteed 10 squares worth of mech space, which means 50 feet, 10 times 50 foot squares. So up to 500 feet of, 10 squares here of, like each mech is 20 feet. But with a hangar bay this large, we could have a number like this many mecha at the 50, up to 50 feet in size. And since we're second rank right now and we're building mecha, as we gain ranks, we'll be able to increase the size of the mecha as we go. So what I think I'm going to do right now is set it so that each rank that we gain to upgrade our mecha, they can increase in size. So right now we're at second rank, they're 20 feet in size. By the time, if we were to take the campaign to 17th level, they could be 50 feet in size, and that would be the maximum size of a craft that we could build. We could also have a shipping yard to create vessels which are larger than 50 feet up to 500 feet in size, like our own citadel here. But that's a third rank and higher thing to do, and our team isn't third rank yet. We'll have to get to 9th level before we're third rank. So we're level 5 right now, so we have 4 levels to gain over the course of probably 2 to 4 months worth of gameplay. If we pace it at 3 weeks per level, that'll give us 12 hours of play at each level of character, and then it'll be a swift campaign. So 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. If we go through 8 levels at 3 weeks a pop, that's 24 weeks total campaign. That would take us to 24 weeks. Divide that by 4. That'd be a 6-month campaign. So if we start in February, we'll finish it in September. And 8 levels, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then we'll cap the campaign. We'll end it at 13th level, which is 8 levels total, 6-month timeline, assuming we show up every week, which we won't. So there'll be delays, of course, but that's the process. You know, this mountain's really bugging on me right now, and I feel like doing some artwork. So I'm going to pick at this dwarf skull just a little bit here, just for the lulz of it for a few minutes, and just ramble on a little bit about what I'm thinking about for us to be able to continue building things. So the thing I definitely want to do is make sure my music's still working. You gonna click over, buddy? Yeah, you clicked over. Good. Let's go to here and then here. There we go. So I'm going to carve away at this, and I think I'm going to go back into more of a like actual mountain that isn't all properly carved out yet. The fun thing about the Dwarven Citadels in 2nd edition Spelljammer is that they're just basically carving the head of a dwarf out of the side of a mountain. And what we're going to do is that the team is going to we have your bastion has bastion points, which we've talked about a lot in the past, but just to remind every you have a bastion when you have 1 bastion point to invest into a property to develop it into a bastion, and then from there, every at 11 bastion points you have 2nd rank facility. At 21 points it's 3rd rank, at 31 it's 4th rank, and then at 41 and more points you have a 5th rank bastion. That's the maximum level bastion that corresponds with your character's levels of 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. So as your characters gain levels, the bastion can gain rank independently from your characters gaining levels if you want to. It just depends on how you want to organize the campaign. I am perfectly fine with the bastion out-leveling, the communities out-leveling the characters. The characters can only, they can't really command a crew
efficiently unless the characters are of equal rank or higher than that crew. So like if you have a 4th rank crew and you're only 5th level characters of 2nd rank, then the crew that you've hired is technically more skilled than you are. So if you're going to issue orders to that crew, they're not going to operate at their optimum performance because you're not strong enough of a leader to lead them properly. It's kind of like if you were playing chess and the grandmaster was moving the pieces, but you're telling that grandmaster which pieces to move, and you're a newbie and you don't know all of the traps and tricks. The grandmaster might see it coming, but their job is to carry out your orders. So they can't perform at optimum capability until you're capable of commanding them optimally yourself. So that's an interesting way for you to be able to find means of upgrading your crew so that they can, like if you're 3rd rank and you still have a 2nd rank crew, you either need to train up your 3rd rank crew to become your 2nd rank crew to become 3rd rank, or you need to hire on new crew that are already 3rd rank. And that's kind of just up to you which way you want to do that. That's just about the role playing of it. But the higher the rank of the crew is, the better the more efficient they operate in combat. The higher proficiency they provide for you to be able to attack and damage stuff. So it's actually really important. But you can operate with a 1st rank crew if you want. They're just not very. You don't get a lot of advantages of using them. It's like using an uncommon magic item in a 17th level game. It's like, yeah, it's a +1 sword. It doesn't do big gains for you, but they're all over the place. They're easy to get. So there's something to be said about minimalism in that sense. But you'll have the ability to train or recruit higher rank crew as the campaign progresses. Similarly, communities have ranks as well. And like, for example, we have there's a druid in one of the on one of the planetoids that tends to all the planetoids in the cluster over the course of the year to like help with crops and shit like that. There's also a artificer workshop on one of the planetoids that's, I think, 2nd rank right now. We'll do some stuff with the colonies, the different settlements later on in the session. But right now I'm just kind of walking my way through the thought process that I have here. It's hard for me to just rant about thought processes when I'm actively writing down rules and stuff like that, which is what we typically do on a design night like this. But I find it's best for me in particular to like verbally walk through the process of what I'm thinking about, so that the next steps of what we want to do and what we need to develop for this piece becomes more apparent, and it helps set up more. The more I talk through it and talk about the process, the easier it's going to be for me to explain it while we're actually active in a game and like doing stuff. So I'll be able to DM it better because I'll walk through it with you guys a number of times. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Zero. It's good to see you, my guy. So, yeah, making a mountain we're making a dwarven fortress out of this mountain rock. I made it look too much like a dwarven face initially, so now I'm basically fixing my art. And I can't really rant about stuff and walk through verbally what it is that's going on in the campaign while I'm trying to write. I can't write and talk at the same time unless I'm speaking what I'm writing, and that's kind of lame. It has its place, and we'll get to that. But it's not as exciting it's not as excited as just going on about something that I have strong feels for and am in the process of already developing. So, different flow. There you go. Let's open that up. That's our hangar. That's our hangar door there. Now, the mecha in the game, minor helms don't go as fast as major helms. So we already know from what we just looked at, the major helms we know can do 10,000 miles per day. They're slower speeds than just normal Spelljammer, but for the sake of the campaign and the scale that we're operating of 200,000 miles from Eberron to Savarith, that's that's basically 20 squares at the 10,000 mile scale. So that's 20 days of marching, of hex crawling from Eberron to Shavarath, and then 20 days back if we wanted to do that. But the minor helms, the smaller fighter craft helms that can push things up to 50 feet in size, they have a slower speed as well. They can go up to 1,000 miles per day. So the major helms can go 10,000 miles per day. A minor helm can go 1,000 miles per day, which means that if a fighter craft at the cluster scale of 500 miles per square, fighter craft on their own can go 2 days, can move 2 squares at the 500-foot scale, while the Citadel can go 500 miles per hour. So it's 10 times faster than the fighter craft. So initially, if we're going to fight threats like kaiju and stuff like that show up, the Citadel has to deliver the mecha to the battleground and then act as like an aerial support craft while the mecha are on foot with like 40-foot axes hacking at stuff, doing 5d8 damage or whatever it is when they hit, whatever our scaling looks at. But we aren't a high enough rank to install major helms into our mecha. The whole region is too low rank to be able to just produce spelljamming helms. We have to barter for them, and currently the Pirates of Lazar are blocking access to the only location that we know of that could potentially sell us more major helms. So we're limited to one major helm right now, which is already installed into this Dwarven Citadel, and we have the ability to make minor helms ourselves. So we can make our own fighter craft and the fuel and magic to be able to pilot them. So that's self-sufficient, but the larger structures, not yet. We have to develop into that. Hey, what's up? Do you make long ship travels interesting, random encounters, and PC interactions, or just fast forward time? It really depends. The Spelljammer book that I have published that I was showing off earlier, it's linked in the description down below. It converts wild space into basically a hex crawl, and you can just use normal encounter stuff. So like if I know it's going to be 6 days to get from point A to point B, I'll roll to see if there's a random encounter, and if there is, I'll determine how many random encounters there's going to be, and then I can roll a d6 to see which day are we going to have that random encounter. If we don't have any encounters, I just fast forward it. But I'm also operating in Bastion turns, and the ships that we're on, as long as they're vessels 50 feet or larger, they can have facilities in them because they're large enough to be able to have Bastion facilities. So I like to operate overland travel as a Bastion turn. And so you can have, you're guaranteed to have some sort of event happen every Bastion turn. If your turn is being spent moving from point A to point B, then you're going to have some sort of random encounter. That could just last one event and it's over, or it could be like you pick up somebody's hitchhiking and now you have a bunch of crazy crap that's going on aboard your ship for the 7 days or whatever it's going to take you to get from point A to point B. So there's a lot of different ways you can play it, but generally I'll do a random encounter with an event themed around it, and if the event ends up causing multiple sorties or multiple adventures challenges over the course of that week, then we're going to slow the game down to deal with all those threats in turn. If there's no outstanding threats of any sort, then we don't worry about it, and we just resolve the turn and move along from there. So it just depends on where they're going, what they're trying to do, and what they end up encountering. I'm gonna get rid of that. But I like the look of this mountain a lot better than I like the look of this. So I'm really happy to be doing this. So I'm going to bring this down here, and then we've got our brow like that, so we can peek the mountain here. Erase that like that. So it's a mountain, but it's not fully carved out yet. It's still got a lot of solid space inside of it. So what's going to happen is over the course of the campaign, like these are the only areas. This here runs along here. This deck here runs along here, and the bridge here is up here. So they have all of this space. They have tons of rock space in here and here. Each week they can hollow out more of the mountain to create more space to put more facilities in. And when they clear out space, it's like iron ore or whatever that they're removing from its skull to open up the space, and then they can sell off the ore to convert that into resource or bastion points that they can then use to pay for additional facilities, personnel, blah blah blah. Bastion points at second rank are worth 1,000 gold apiece. So, like for example, we were talking about the goblin arrows earlier being 1,000 gold between the miner helm, the construction of the ship, and the weapons that are on it. It's about 1,000 gold minus the pilot. So we would then be able to. Here, I'm just kind of building this out a little bit more here like that. Let's get rid of these lines in here and add that eye back in. There. Erase this a little bit because that's too well defined. And, that mouth is too low. It needs to actually be here. So we're going to add that there. And let's... we'll do like that. And then I want to bring it in here like this. Let's erase off some of that stuff. No ears yet. But as they dig out more and more of the ore, they carve more and more of the heads. So by the time the carving is completed, it'll have lost all its monetary value. They ditch it as a completed work of art, and then they move on to the next chunk of mineral that they find that they can start mining into the shape of another dwarven head. After they carve out enough of it, it becomes a fortress. So if you're able to take down a dwarven citadel, it most assuredly is going to have ore of some sort worth value. Otherwise, they wouldn't have set up shop in it in the first place. So they're tough as hell to fight. But if a pirate can defeat them, it's just literally like a giant rock of gold, or iron, or God willing, mithril, or adamantine. It could be worth just a crazy fortune. But boy, they're massive citadels. They're literal flying fortresses. So cracking them open is like, good luck. There we go. And then let's add in, we have one layer here, and we have one layer here. And I have one layer here. So those are 3 floors currently. We can open up space down here. We can open up more space in here. We have a ton of space up here. We can just well, not tons, because it's kind of, trimmed down. But we have space, so we can open up more space inside of the head and convert that space that we're opening up into gold that we sell as ore, that then gets converted into a resource point. And once we accumulate enough resource points, the citadel naturally gains a rank. It becomes a higher tier object. It can create higher rank. Magic items. It can create larger mecha. We're at second rank right now with 20-foot mecha. When we get to third rank with our workshop and our hangar bay, we'll be able to have 30-foot mecha. The campaign will end at 4th rank with 14th level. So we'll have 4th rank, which will take us to 40-foot mecha. If we decide to upgrade our hangar and workshop to be a shipyard, we can then build vessels that are 50 feet to 500 feet in size. So like we could have, like, the size of the citadel here is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we could have a 400-foot long, 100-foot wide ship that we could build inside of this hangar, but we won't have any room for our mecha anymore. So we might build like a second hangar like down here that we then build out to be like a mecha deploy drop, and then convert this up here to be 800 by like 200 feet in size, so that we can put like really big ships in there to start continuing to build that out. So as the campaign goes along, we can reconfigure how the place looks and how it functions. Currently the bridge is up here at the eye holes. Here's our bridge, and there's a barracks. Second floor here, there's weapon stations. Down here on the third floor, there's on the ground floor, there's a storehouse. There is the hangar. There is the workshop, and here we go. Barracks and barracks, and then barracks. So we have 3 barracks total. So we can have up to, at second rank, we could potentially have 100 soldiers at second rank as crew and stuff, but each crew member requires 10 feet of a 10-foot space. So you can effectively only have 1, 2, 3. Was it in a 50-foot square? We can have 5. We can have 25 troops, or we can have 25 people per 50-foot square of space. So if we have 1, 2, 3, we can have up to 75 crew aboard the ship with the 3 barracks that we have built currently. So we have that allocated here as points, which are barracks. 2 points are invested into it. So we have up to 100. 1 barracks, 100 crew, but we have the 1, 2, 3, 50 feet squares. We could install a 4th 50-foot facility to get us up to the 100 troops total, but we don't need that currently, so I didn't automatically install it. That's something that the team could decide to install if they want to open up more space inside of the head. But that'll be their choice what they want to do. I'll have suggestions, but they can always do whatever they want. So I like the look of the Citadel better now than I did before, so I'm going to let that sit for now. And I'm going to go ahead and fold this up. Here's a rough of the mecha that we're building. I'm thinking a very just in general. Do like Space Marines, have like a basic Space Marine looking sort of mech. And if the team wants to get fancy and build their own frames to start building personalities for themselves, they are most certainly welcome to do so. These are just generic. I'm going to build this out here just for the funsies of doing it. So we have to, we're going to build mecha. After I get done sketching here, we're going to actually start doing some mechanics for these mecha. They operate in 5 tiers as well, corresponding with your character's level or the level of your Bastion. Take your pick, depending on how you want to run the game. I'm having the mecha scale of the characters, and we have it set so that each Bastion turn is 1 adventure that they'll gain a level with. So over the course of 8 adventures, they'll gain 8 levels, ending at having ran their last campaign at 13th, ending at 14th level. We might go into overtime and keep pushing it if we really want to, but currently I have plans to end the campaign at after 13th level. So that'll be 8 separate adventures that we'll run over the course of the campaign. They gain a level every time they finish an adventure, which is 1 Bastion turn each. They'll gain 1 additional point of resources. They'll gain 2 Bastion points from their Dwarven Citadel each turn, each adventure, because 5 adventures from 4 to 9 gives us 10 Bastion points, which takes you from 2nd to 3rd rank. So the campaign, the characters, the Bastions, and the mecha are all going to pace the exact same, with the characters gaining levels. Every 4 levels, their facilities and their mecha upgrade. So they'll have 4 adventures to run through with their mecha as it is, as their characters are gaining levels from 5 to 9, And then at 9th level, their mecha upgrades, and then they get to play with those from level 9 to 13. And then their mecha would upgrade again for 14, from 13th to 16th level. And then at 17th level, the mecha would then upgrade again. The facilities and the bastions would get the 5th rank, the maximum rank in the game, and then continue. And then they would just amass more resources to do more stuff. And at 3rd rank, if they want to build vessels, ships that can be up to 500 feet in size, they're welcome to do so. They just take a long time to build. The mecha that we're building, you can build mecha in a week. If you have 2 workshops, you can build 2 new mecha, like 2 brand new mecha each week. You can also like long rest heal mecha by just having them be worked on in their hangar. So if you got a workshop and a hangar, you can repair mecha at that facility. So each bastion turn, the ships will come back fresh and new without having to expend any resources. Just by default, they just get healed, like a long rest. Speaking of which, each bastion turn is roughly a week in game, and we're going to do gritty realism so that each long rest that the characters take is also a bastion turn, which means that at the beginning of each adventure, we have 1 adventure per bastion turn, and there'll be 3 sessions per adventure, and then when the characters finish the adventure, they take a long rest. Even if the next day they start their next bastion turn, they'll roll over and get a full rest. And then we'll have as many short rests as we want during the course of that bastion turn. We could have, I typically anticipate 1 short rest per, like you run a 3.5 hour shift, then take a short rest. So if we're gonna have three sessions per adventure, that'll basically be 3 short rests, and then we get our bastion turn to get our full rest back, which means full casters are going to use the Warlock chassis so that we have our mana, and we're using spell points for Warlocks. So a 5th level Warlock has 5 mana on a short rest, just like a monk does. 1st level spell is 1 point, 2nd level spell is 2 points, 3rd level spell is 3rd point, and that's the maximum spell level a 5th level Warlock can have. So I get those back on a short rest, and the whole team can then take short rests whenever they want to regain all their typical short rest resources. And then at the end of the bastion turn, we get our long rest to get all of our long rest resources back. But in that sort of a pacing campaign, I find it best to give all the full casters the word I'm looking for is the Warlock chassis. So we don't worry about druids having invocations or warlocks having invocations. The classes are exactly the same as they're listed in the book. The only difference is that until you reach 11th level, all you have is short rest mana. By the time you get to 11th level, then you start getting long rest mana for your high level magic spells. 6 points at 11th level for your 6th level spell, 9 points, and then 6 points, then 10 points at 12th level, and then 13 points at 13th level, so you can cast a 6th and a 7th level spell with 13 mana for your long rest, or you can expend that long rest mana to use more 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th level spells. It's just you don't get those 13 points back at 13th level until you take your long rest. So 1 bastion turn, the Warlock will have a pocket of 13 spell points to spend either on high magic or on common magic level 1 to 5, your choice, but you don't get them back. So you could cast 2 6th level, a 7th level spell and a 6th level spell, 1 6 or 1 7th level spell, and spend the rest of it on short, on temporary stuff. But the Warlock, the Wizard will have short rest. I get all my points back as well, and then I have like the Arcane Recovery. So is not only during one of those short rests would I get the Arcane Recovery is basically replaced with every time I take a short rest, I get all my mana. I get all 5 mana back as a 5th level Wizard, for instance. So it generally balances out pretty nicely. We could get complicated and build a whole bunch of invocations built for all the different subclasses, all like for the Cleric and for the Druid and blah, blah, blah. But it's easier just to switch it over. It's like just go with the mana pool. Yeah, there you go. The Warlock really doesn't get any features other than invocations and its subclass. So like the invocations is the class features for the Warlock. All the other classes have stuff that they get to do. So it honestly kind of balances out. But by having everybody in that short rest mechanic, we can all pace together. It's like, is everybody spent? Yeah, well, cool. Let's take a short rest. It's going to take us an hour to get to the next island on our mecha, and if our dwarven facility is like 3 hours away, and we need to get someplace that's 1,000 miles from here. We can take the 2 hours to fly our mecha there, and just send signal for the carrier to pick us up at the next location. That gives us 2 hours of downtime. We can take a short rest while we're just flying on cruise control. It's very easy to integrate that sort of stuff in there. But by making the mecha use minor helms that only move 1,000 miles per day, as opposed to the carrier of 10,000 miles per day, getting from location to location, you could have your mecha patrolling a specific area with your characters independently of where the citadel is at, hoping that whatever threat arises, either your citadel can handle it without the mecha, or your mecha can handle it without the citadel. 6 or a half dozens kind of difference there, right? The team, I would assume, will keep their mecha and citadel together, but if they break them up, if they have them operate independently, then that changes the balance of the encounters a bit, which I'm looking forward to see if they decide to do or not. Let's give this guy some mecha feet here real fast. There. 4x4, basic mecha, 20 feet in size. Your pilot goes here. Or perhaps here, with it popping open and then opening up like this. You can climb down and then walk away over here. And then you can do your 5-foot adventuring if you want to, like raiding a pirate, like a safe house or whatever. We'll have combat capable at the 500-foot scale with the Citadel, 50-foot scale with our mecha, or the 5-foot scale with our characters as usual. So here's our mecha. If we gave him a glaive, that glaive would have a 40-foot reach. It's basically whatever the size of your mecha is, reach is twice that. Or rather, sorry, this would be your normal reach. That's a good point. Hold on, let me fix that. If I just have a normal battle axe, I can hack into this next square. If I have a reach weapon, like a glaive, like a reach polearm, I can then reach into this next square here. So what we'll probably be doing is just in general operating at the 50-foot scale. So a 20-foot mecha at the 50-foot scale is essentially a halfling at the 5-foot scale. 20 is a little bit small. You're somewhere in that tiny to small size area at the 50-foot scale if you're in a 20-foot mech, but it's close enough that we'll be able to operate in 50-foot squares. So like if I wanted to move 200 feet, I would move 4 squares. The mecha have the ability to run along the ground if they want to. They can also fly if they want to. If they can fly, they can move up to they can fly at a 500-foot scale. Up to 1 mile per round, which translates into hold on, let me walk through this real quick. Vessel and then craft. Vessel has 10k per day, has 1k per 2 hours, has 100 miles per 10 minutes, has 10 miles per minute, has 1 mile per minute, equals 500 foot square. The mecha craft have 1,000 miles per day, which is 100 miles per 2 hours, or roughly 50 miles per hour. And then it's 10 miles, 2 hours, 10 miles per 10 minutes, which is, per day, 2 hours, 10 minutes, 1 minute, equals 500 feet per round, which means a 50-foot square. So if we're in mecha, we can at best operate at the 50-foot scale. If we're fighting pirate ships that are capable of full jamming speed at the 10,000 mile scale, we're going to need our carrier ship to get our mecha onto those enemy ships to start cutting them into pieces. And the pirates will have mecha to defend them from getting cut up like that. So it'll be a fun little skirmish, jumping basically, because these mecha aren't fast enough to fly and keep up with spelljamming vessels. But with the rules that we've developed about gravity planes and stuff in Spelljammer, all I have to do is hop into your gravity field and grab hold of your ship, and I can now piggyback on your gravity plane until you're able to shake me off and then yeet me free of your gravity, of your air bubble. Once you can kick me out of your air bubble, then you can escape from me. But while I'm in your air bubble, I'm moving at your speed with you. So if I can move 50 miles per hour and my gravity is synced to yours, it doesn't matter if you're going 1,000 miles per second. I can still move 50 miles inside of your air bubble, and you have to fight me to get rid of me. The ship will be trying to fight me like a giant trying to shake little monsters off of their back, but the crew on the ship will also be attacking the mecha. So if we're going to basically raid a pirate ship by jumping our mecha from our ship onto their ship and then start cutting open their deck, we can expect the bleed soldiers that'll start taking shots at us with Eberron lasers to try to disable our mecha, and they can get torn down pretty quickly. So it's a risk. So we have to have, if we're gonna fight vessels, we have to have our citadel be able to get within range and stay and get close enough to the pirate ships to be able to deploy our mecha to start carving them up. So when we go from asteroid, so when a threat hits the cluster, wrong space. Let's go back to this. Let's close up shop there. Mecha. Yeah, so for us to be able to, like, if pirates come in and attack, like say community number 3, it's an iron mine. It has wealth, it has resources. If the pirates, and it's also closest to the pirates. So if the pirates come and raid here, we're going to, when the pirates hit, we're going to have a day, whatever day of the week it is that they're going to be on. We're going to randomly determine on a D6 which community the citadel is at when the pirates attack here. We'll get word by Sending Stone that they're under attack, send help right away. If we have, like, say, mecha on this island here, that's 1, 2, 3 squares away. It would only take 3 hours for the citadel to get from this rock to this rock, but it would take 2 days. One day for every 2 squares. So 1 day, and then on the next day, the fighter craft will get there. And when we have an encounter occur, we'll determine what rock is the citadel at and how many hours is the attack going to be at that location. So if we're over here at the cove in area 6 and this gets attacked by space pirates, I'm going to roll probably like a D6 or a D8, and that will be it has to be a D8. So hold on, what's the furthest point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 7 is the furthest point from one rock to the next, and it takes an hour per square. So if I'm here and we're attacked here, it's going to take 7 hours for me to get from here to here. That's a ridiculous amount of time. If I roll a D8, chances are they're going to be gone before I'm able to do something about it, which means that we're going to have to hold them off with whatever resources they actually have there, and that's not necessarily an encounter that we're going to deal with. I might change that, because that would mean that, like, we would have to get lucky about. Hold on, let's check our rules real quick.
because we have rules for loading and unloading supplies on ships in our Spelljammer book that we built. So
hold on real quick. Let's go take a look at that. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration.
What, the club?
Let's go to Spelljammer Combat and Exploration.
Copy link. Okay, let's just manually put it in DMsGuild.com. Thank you. And we'll go Spelljammer Combat and Exploration. Here's our book. It's number 2 on the list. Preview. Let's go down to
crew. Making repairs.
Dockyard repairs, magical repairs. Lifestyle and crew rank. There we go. Restocking supplies. How long does it take to restock supplies? Time to restock. So for us to fill a ship with materials and food and quality of life, like standards of living stuff, for us to be able to stock a ship with different levels of lifestyle, meaning different levels of wealth, the amount of hours that it takes is going to determine by the size of the ship. So if we go to, let's say the pirates go and they attack this community that we've been talking about here, number 3. We haven't defined this one yet, but let's attack number 5 instead. Pirates come and they raid number 5. We have number 5 already built out, so let's go take a look at that real quick. Community number 5 is called Far Hope. It's maintaining a comfortable lifestyle right now for a month. So for us, a comfortable lifestyle, let's go to our document here. A comfortable lifestyle, Jesus Christ. It takes 3d8 hours plus 1 hour per 50 feet to be able to basically take supplies from a community and then load them up into a vessel. Presumably, we've paid for and earned this lifestyle, but it could be stolen by pirates. So if a pirate ship rolls up with, like, say, a 250-foot hammerhead ship, and they're planning on taking as much wealth and resources as they can from this community, they're going to roll 3d8 hours, and the hammerhead ship is 250 feet long, so 3d8 plus 5 hours. That's the total amount of time that it would take for them to be able to locate and then load their ship up with enough materials, wealth, supplies, and resources to warrant a comfortable lifestyle for that ship, or basically load itself full of comfortable level amenities and wealth and blah for them to then escape with. Effectively, each 50-foot space is effectively a bastion point. So if they can come in and they can steal a ship full of comfortable merchandise and wealth and jewelry and all this stuff from that community, they're going to be basically draining it of 5 points of resources from that community. And that community can repair those 5 points by spending a bastion turn focusing on replenishing its lost resources, but that prevents them from doing things like produce food for other communities, create that magic item that you wanted, recruit those people that you need to stock your new ship. Like, there's only so many things a bastion can do per turn, and if they have to eat up one of those actions or one of those resources, one of those orders with repair, and they don't repair enough, they need 5 points, they only rolled a 3, well, we have to spend another repair order to get the rest of the points. We don't have any orders left. We don't have any orders left for us to do anything else other than just repair this place. And then the next bastion turn, maybe the pirates show up over at the Cove, and they raid this place. So the Cove is currently at a comfort level of Scabbard Cove. There we go. It's maintaining a, where is maintain lifestyle, and
Oh, it's only first rank. It can't maintain a lifestyle at all. So currently, it's going to have a random lifestyle. Let's roll a d20 plus d4 plus 1. That's the die roll that we make for it to determine its level of lifestyle right now. So I rolled a 6 and a 2, which is 8. Plus 1 is 9, and 9 is less than poor. It is a squal. Oh, Jesus Christ! We're starting off with a squalid lifestyle this turn, which means I need a reason why the lifestyle is so poor. Rated by pirates. And the pirates, if they're second rank, they're going to do 1d6. What rank were those pirates? Were those pirates, if I roll 1 to 3 on a 6-sided die, they're second rank. If I roll 4 to 6, I rolled a 1. So it's second rank. So rated by pirates, second rank. Rated by second rank pirates, 1d6. I'm going to deal 6 points of damage. So I'm dealing 6 points of damage to them right now. They only have 9 points, so we're going to disable their pocket, so they're not going to have any bonus points from them to do anything. We're going to disable the barracks. Let's say that got trashed. Pub. They're going to destroy the pub. And they took the animals that they were training. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit, they're down 1 still. And the menagerie. So they completely wrecked this place. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. This is, wait, is this right? Scouter's Cove, yeah. Pocket. It looks like it has a pocket. I only have, what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have 7 points allocated. So, cool. I'll go ahead and knock down that pocket there. We'll leave stables intact. We'll leave the menagerie intact, but the pub and the barracks, let's leave the barracks intact, but destroy the menagerie. So, if it's a sabotage mission, the attacker chooses which facility gets damaged. If it's a raid or just a siege, in general, the defender gets to decide what resources are lost. But if the Bastion gets reduced down to 0 hit points, effectively the community is destroyed. You could repair it, of course. You could rebuild, but you're going to have, since the Bastion itself is destroyed, you then have to get somebody else from a different Bastion to come over and rebuild it for you. Once you drop to 0 points, you have nothing. And you can't rebuild anything from it. It has to be built from scratch by somebody else willing to come in and build it up. And once you have that 1 point put in place, the Bastion can start feeding itself and repairing itself. It needs that Kickstarter, that kindling from somebody else to put in that spark. But this is its current damage. So Scavenged Cove just got hit, like right before the campaign starts. Scavenged Cove got hit by, was it pirates? No. Was it Space Kaiju? Yes. You got attacked by Space Kaiju. Was it, Jesus Christ, it got the menagerie, destroyed the pocket, took out the pub. Was it a grazing monster? 6 on 6. Okay, so instead of the pub being destroyed, it's going to wreck the stables and the gardens. And the menagerie is intact, but it only had 4 pocket points left over for damages and stuff. 5 and 6. There you go. So it has no pocket, like it has no additional resources to like hurry up repairs or to dump more points into building more things. It'll repair those points last. As long as it rolls a 2 or better on its repair roll, it'll have the garden and the stable back up and running, which it needs to help produce food for the other communities. So we'll get that back online. Let's scroll this down here to keep it out of the way. Let's grab this and bring it up a smidge. There we go. Just arranging my windows. Let's see. What are we gonna do? Okay, yeah, I think I have enough groundwork in place. I'm happy with where our illustrations are at so far. So let's. Oh, that's right. The community. So it would take 3d8 plus for the Hammerhead ship, 250 feet plus 5 hours. So timely timer. I'm gonna roll my 3d8 and then add in my modifiers. So give me a second here. 3d8 plus 5. That's going to be 18, 23 hours. So they need a total of 23 hours to be able to fill their ship with plunder that they can pull from this town. The team, let's say we're going to roll when this event happens. We're going to roll a d6. We got 1, 2, first off, this was, yeah, we're talking about number 5 is being raided right now. So number 5 is being attacked. We're going to roll a d6 to see where our citadel is located right now. I rolled a 3. So it is way the fuck over here, probably dropping off iron to get more bastion points for the facility. But it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 7 hours away from being able to come here. It's going to take, what do we roll? 17, 18, 23. So it takes 23 hours for them to finish stocking, to finish stocking the ship. They're going to do the 6 points of damage to the settlement. Like over here, they did the 6 points of damage to this settlement already. When they come over here, they're going to roll that d6 again. They're going to do 3 points of damage to this community, and they can then harvest from it, or rather scoop from it. I'm going to say, since I rolled 23, I'm going to round that up to 25. So they could collect a total of, oh no, they could pull a total of 6 points. But they only have time for 2 before the team shows up. So 23 divided by 6 is roughly 24. Divided by 6 is 4 hours. 7 hours. Okay, so by the time the team gets to the facility, like from area 3 to 5, the pirates will have had a chance to, they'll wreck 6 points, but they've had a chance to harvest or collect 2 resource points from the bastion, from this settlement. So they've taken 6 points of damage so far. If the team can defeat the pirates and reclaim the plunder that they had taken from this facility, they can repair 2 points of these. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Scatter code. Oh, there we go. Like if this is a scatter code we're dealing with, and they're able to repair 2 points, they could put those 2 points back in pocket right away. So they only be down 2 points out of their 4. And they would then have the additional resources they need to order to make more order, to issue more orders by spending bastion points to issue more orders to repair the facilities. But since they're only first rank, they can only repair D4 hit points. They got 2 points back from defeating the pirates. Now I'm going to issue both orders to issue repair, which are going to be D4 each. So I rolled a 2 and a 1. That's 3 points. So by the end of this Bastion turn, I'll have all my points back except for 1 will be missing, which will keep drained out of our pocket. So like we would have 3 out of 4 points here. This would be fine, and this would be fine. That's essentially what's happening. So this is where they're going to be at right now. I'm going to leave them ruined like this. And since this is only, we got 0 points here. Since this is only maintain a squalid, they have a squalid lifestyle, so like it takes no time at all to be able to pick that up. Let's look at what is the looting time for a squalid lifestyle. 1 hour plus 1 hour per 50 feet. So it only takes 6 hours for them to be able to pull to pull resources for a squalid lifestyle. which is essentially only it's worth only 1 resource point. It's barely worth anything. Technically, it's not worth any points. It's just going to be able to power their ship, but there's nothing else value for them to sell. So this was actually this whole them attacking the Cove is. They defeated it. They dealt damage to the place, but it's maintaining a squalid lifestyle. So they can't pull enough wealth out of the community. After 6 hours, like, here's some shit that we got. It's worth, well, they're second-ranked pirates, so they'll get 2 points for it. But that's all they could possibly get from it. It only takes 6 hours for them to be able to assess that and get what they can. Meanwhile, if we were like over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it would take 7 hours for us to get to the Cove from the iron mines where we're at. Well, they leave after 6. So they're gone. It's too late. We missed them. They took those points clean, and now we just have to repair. So that's the place will start. That's actually worked out really well. So this place is going to start down 6 points, and but we're not likely to see it get hit by pirates again anytime soon. If pirates crop up as the new threat that we're dealing with in this community, next Bastion turn, I'll roll a D10 divided by 2. I'll roll a D5 to see which of the other 5 communities get attacked, because we already know that Scatter's Cove is fucking broke. So there's nothing left for the pirates to really take from that place right now until it gets healthier. Then they might come back and chew on it some more. But if there's monsters attacking, I can still roll a D6, because monsters could attack, because they don't care. Monsters will attack anything. They'll still damage the place. But they're just there to graze, as it were. So that's how that'll work. So let's actually start working on the ships. Power systems, list of powers. We have maneuvers and exploits that the ships can perform. I think I want to start a new block at 20 feet. So looking at, let's see, fighting styles, forged bodies, table of contents, character options first, and then the mecha, fantasy machines. The character, each player can choose what their ship is made out of. If it's heavy, it has the heaviest automatic armor class, but we don't get bonuses to dexterity, for instance. If it's a composite material, armor class will be 15, but the maximum bonus, our strength and constitution for heavy, when we're making constitution and strength saving throws or ability checks through the mecha, it's automatically going to be a +5 bonus. Composite material is a +2 bonus. Light material doesn't get any bonus unless the pilot itself provides it. Like if I have a 20 strength in a light material ship, I can provide a +5 strength bonus to my mecha. If I don't, and I'm in a heavy mecha, I can get a +5 bonus to strength and con tests, and my armor class is automatically 18. If I go with composite material, it's 15 plus either my dexterity or my intelligence +2 maximum. And if it's a light material, it only has an armor class of 13, but I can use my entire dexterity and intelligence modifier to modify the armor class. I don't have any penalties or limitations on my dexterity and light material, but it has less damage reduction. So light material mecha has 0 damage reduction. Composite materials has a 5 points of damage reduction. So if I hit you for 13 points, I reduce that to 8 instead of 13. If I have heavy materials, which is like metal, I have a damage resistance of 10 for my fighter craft. And so if I get hit for 13 points and I'm in a heavy material ship, damage reduction is 10. I'll only take 3 points instead of 10 points. So that's roughly how that's how that works. Ability checks and saving throws, use your stats, blah, blah, blah. Armor class we have above already. Damage reduction we just explained. Destroyed is a new condition. When your vehicle has been reduced to 0 hit points, it is destroyed. A destroyed vehicle cannot move or be piloted until it is repaired to half its total hit points. Basically, if a craft is destroyed, it can't be considered rebuilt enough to pilot again until it's not bloodied anymore at half hit points. For example, a 50-foot machine with 100 hit points, that is destroyed can be piloted again when 50 or more hit points have been repaired. There you go. Cargo and towing limits for different ships. Power systems, here we go. Power supply is 2, up to maximum 2nd rank. We can have air navigation. We don't necessarily have to worry about this line here. We're building 2nd rank, so we're the entire thing is inside of an air supply. If we want to go from this clean air into the poison sea, which is what this darker, I guess that's blue. I think it's blue. Is that blue? Barely. Yeah, this bluish haze, that is no, it's slightly green. Perfect. That's poison, and then this is a frozen. This is where Frisia is still influencing orbit. So this circle here is of particularly cold. It's inconvenient and damaging overnight. It just gets cold. But fighter craft can't traverse the poison sea. You have to have a major helm because the air supply on a fighter craft only lasts for an hour. So it'll burn out inside, out in the poison sea. A vessel like the Citadel, for instance, or any other ship that's larger than 50 feet in size, has a large enough air supply that it can last for multiple days. Even though the air will be poisoned, you'll still have, well, I guess that doesn't make sense. The way that we're running it is that the poison sea will automatically poison anybody that traverses it, as a detriment, as a means of keeping you on the path. But yeah, since this is an air supply, we don't have to worry about void space. Like, none of this is in void. It all has an air supply. The entire realm is in a giant air bubble. It's just most of it's poisoned because there's no good air out there. These little pockets are where there's enough forest to be able to generate clean air that's being breathed by the populations that are in it. But these void areas in between where there are no asteroid clusters, the air is stale. It's not void per se. It's still air. It's just poisonous. So it gives you the poison. It's foul. So it gives you the poison condition while you're in it. But you can still technically traverse it like air. So that allows our fighter craft to traverse that area. Our power supply, that means that we have... So I need to build a system here. We're going to go rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go... size. And we're going to go with power is going to have 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, 6 points. Let's put in mods. And then mana. So what are mods? Let's see. Mods are devices and enchantments that give your mecha special, give your mecha powers. There you go. So what are some of the mods? So we get 2 mods. We get 3 mods at rank 2. So what are some of the mods that we're going to have? We're going to have durable equals double hit points. Spell amplifier. Spell amplifier, use mana. let's see. Amplify spells to 50-foot scale using 1 mana. So our ship generates 2 mana. The rank that we're at, that we could have, like if we were a 4th rank, we could have 20-foot scale. Like this is the largest scale, the largest size our ships can be. This is the most amount of modifications our ship can have, and the largest mana supply that it can have. So we could have a smaller ship with more mods and more mana. We could have a bigger ship with less mods and less mana if we wanted to. But this is by 5th rank, we could have a 50-foot mecha with up to 6 mods and a mana battery of 5. That mana battery is either going to pay to sustain effects on the ship, like if I want to generate a force shield that increases my armor class, that's going to be a mod that's going to have to be powered by mana. So I get 2 points. I have 3 mods and I have 2 points of mana available for me. So if I decided to have a sustained enchantment on my mecha, I could have up to 2 of them because I only have 2 points of mana to power them. But I could have a total of 3 mods. So like durable doesn't cost any mana. It just doubles my hit points. Oh, that's right. Mana and then HP at this scale. 10-foot size is only 20 hit points. 40, we get 40 hit points there, 60 hit points here, 80 hit points here, and 100 hit points here. These act as like hit points for a horse. Right? If you're on your horse, like if you have the mounted combatant feat and you're riding a horse, if your horse is going to take damage, you can take damage for your horse instead. So the horse has 40 hit points, you have 50 hit points. To keep your horse running, you can dump in 89 hit points. As long as that horse has, 88 hit points. As long as the horse and you both have 1 hit point, you can make that horse go somewhere and it's fine. So if we at 2nd rank, we have 20-foot ships, we have 40 hit points added on to whatever our 5th level characters have, and we have damage reduction that helps whittle down the amount of damage that's taken. Whatever gets through our damage reduction, we can either deal to the ship, or the pilot, whoever's piloting the mecha, can choose to take that damage themselves. And when we're targeting each other with healing spells and stuff, if I target the mecha, I can either target the mecha or I can target the pilot. Technically, the mecha need a repair spell. So if you have the mending cantrip and you spend a spell slot, you can heal the mecha for 2d8 hit points. It effectively becomes by expending a spell point or a spell, 1st level spell to cast the mending cantrip, it becomes a healing spell for mecha. So I could heal the pilot for 2d8 hit points with a Cure Wounds spell, or I could target the mecha to be repaired for 2d8 hit points. So there you go. Let's see, durable, spell amplifier. So if I have a spell amplifier, that allows me to, normally, like if I cast Burning Hands has a 15-foot reach, or a 15-foot cone. Any creatures at the 5-foot scale that's in that 15-foot cone will take 2d4 damage or some shit, whatever. But if I amplify the spell, if I spend that 1 spell point or that 1st level spell to cast Burning Hands, and then I amplify it with an additional spell level, instead of being a burst 2d4 fire in the 15-foot area, it's now a 2d4 points of fire in a 150-foot area. It still deals the same amount of damage, but now it's a larger scale to deal with the mecha that we're dealing with. And the mecha only has 40 hit points, plus say you've got a bard in there with 25 hit points. So your bard plus mecha in its bard mecha has a total of 65 hit points. And I just got Burning Hands for 6 damage. I'm in composite material. I absorbed 5 of it. I only took 1 point of damage. So that's not so bad. But now we just got hit by a fireball that got amplified to a 200-foot radius. And all of our mech got caught inside of that. It's now going to deal 8d6 damage to us. Luckily, we saved. The rogue saved, so now he has evasion, so he takes 0 damage, lucky pilot. But say the druid takes it on the nose, has 26 hit points, plus the 40 from the mech, that's 66 hit points. I just got hit by, on average, what is it, 86? On average, 24 points of damage if I fail my saving throw. I went from 65 down to 41 hit points from that fireball that hit our team. If I save, I only went down 12 hit points. So it allows the numbers to stay the same, but scale up. And these mecha craft are basically between the damage reduction and the extra hit points that you get from it. And of course, you can stack temporary hit points onto the pilot. So if I get hit by, say, after damage reduction, 15 points of damage, and I've got 10 temporary hit points on myself, I could take all of those remaining 15 hit points, let the temporary hit points get dropped off of me, and that only leaves 5 hit points of damage that my pilot has taken, and my mecha is still fine. Or my mecha takes all the damage, I'm down to 25 hit points left on my mecha, or I let my mecha take 5 points of damage, so it's now at 35, and the pilot takes 0 damage because it ate up all the temporary hit points. So you can play it. It's a little added layer of complexity, but if you just consider the mecha to be a battery of additional, like, separate temporary hit points, then basically the giant mecha you have lets you do more damage and take more hit points. But otherwise, it's exactly the same as 5e combat. You just got giant ships, giant monsters, and giant robots fighting each other, dealing larger amounts of damage with larger hit point pools, but all the stats stay the same for D&D combat otherwise. Like, my barbarian is still going to do like an extra D10 when I do brutal strikes or whatever. There you go. It's just an extra 10 points of damage, but my axe that I'm hitting with on my 20-foot mecha is going to be dealing, what, 4d8 damage? Something like that. It stacks up the dice. So where did that go? Let's go look at our damage sizes. Hold on. Power systems. Where was I at? Fantasy machines, construction, damage reduction, power systems. Like you would just assume that heavy material would be the best. It gives me a high armor class. It gives me a lot of damage reduction. Yeah, but you don't have any dexterity. You have no dexterity bonuses. You cannot have a dexterity bonus. So you're less stealthy. You are more vulnerable to area of effect damage spells, which of course there's a lot of in D&D. So it has its pros and cons, and of course, me as a good DM, I'm going to be giving you a taste of all of it, so that you can decide what was a good choice for yourself or not. But okay, so with our modified tables, our mecha at 20 feet deals an extra 3 dice does 3 dice of damage. So if I'm using a battle axe, which is like a D12, I'll do 3 D12 with the battle axe, not 1 D12. And once I get to 3rd rank with 30-foot mecha, it'll be 4 dice. When we get to 50 foot, we won't get to 50 foot in this game, but if we got to 50 foot in this game, it'd be 5 dice of damage. If we had a 100-foot mecha, it'd be 60 damage. And by the time we got up to 500 feet, it would be 10 times the damage of the axe, which would be D8 times 10 damage, basically. Instead of 10d8, it'd just be D8 times 10. And then it could continue to scale it from there. D10, D20, D8 times 10 times 20 times 30 times 40, up to times 50 at the 1 mile scale, for instance. So yeah, that's our damage. So we're going to be doing 3 dice of damage. I should, if I can find that fucking table we were just working on. Here we are. Malika, work in progress.
We'll make that a little bit larger in size.
Damage is going to be Is that right? Something feels off. $2D, $3D, right. Okay. Something feels off. Oh, it was the 15 foot was the... Right. Two, three, four, five. Yeah, that actually is accurate. Okay, cool. It was just, I didn't have the 15, 20, 25. I didn't have the steps in between. That was what was throwing me off. 10 foot is 2. 15 and 20 is 3. 30 and 40 is 4. 50 is 5. Good. And then 50 and 100 is, yeah, and continue stacking up from there. So there's our damages. We have the mods as durable, spell amplifier, maneuvers, powers, 1 each. Equals choose 1 power to choose 1 power up to the max rank of mech. So we have a whole stack of powers down here, and each one of these you can load into your ship. So like bait and switch, when you're adjacent to an ally of equal or smaller size, as an object interaction, you can switch places with your ally. As a square of movement, you can switch places with your ally, provided you spend at least one square. You can, as 1 square of movement, you can switch places with your ally, provided you spend at least. When you're adjacent to an ally of equal or smaller size, as a reaction, there it is. No, that's a reaction. Exploit, bait and switch. Until the start of your next turn, you or the ally. Yeah, okay, hold on. I didn't want to make it a reaction. Well, shit, I guess it is. Ally is willing, isn't incapacitated. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Until the start of your next turn, you or the ally gain a bonus to armor class equal to your proficiency bonus. Bait and switch. When you're adjacent to an ally of equal or smaller size, yeah, you can use 1 square of movement to switch places with a willing ally. No, yeah. As an object interaction, which is the primary function of piloting, as an object interaction, yes. Provided you spend. You can switch places with a willing ally, provided you spend at least 1 square of movement. The ally with an ally
Movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. You or the ally gains a bonus to armor class equal to your proficiency bonus. Right. Like, this doesn't take any mana to use, and it's available at first rank. So a first rank mecha can install this as a thing to do. Charge, you can install Charge, which is when you move your vehicle as an action or object interaction, you can channel this power to prevent triggering opportunity attacks due to your movement. The first attack you make during your or after this movement can roll with advantage. Grappler, Keen Awareness, evade damage. When you succeed a dexterity saving throw to reduce damage, you take none or half if you fail. So that's a second rank power. So once I turn that on, again, I only have so many modifications that I can make. At second rank, I only have 3 modifications. And if it requires mana, I have a mana battery of 2. So I could, if I have the spell amplifier, I could change the scale of spell casting, for instance, from the 5-foot scale to the 50-foot scale, but every time I cast, it's going to require 1 point of mana. So if I have a spellcaster in this mecha, they're probably going to want to mod their mecha to have a spell amplifier attached. Power equals choose 1 power up to the max rank of mech. We're at second rank right now, so we can choose second rank powers. Also, we're going to go with what, lightning? No, we're just going to call it blaster equals ranged energy weapon doesn't require ammo equals 2d6 damage. Choose a type. So when you install it, when you install this mod, you'll decide, and since we're second rank, it can be any kind of damage. So it could be force damage, radiant damage, psychic damage. Force damage is the assumed because most things don't have resistance to it. But of course, if everyone's always choosing force damage for the weapons, we're going to have kaiju that are resistant to force and immune to some types of damage. But you get 1 type of damage when you kit out your ship. And so there you go. I mean, you could have 2 blasters, each with a different type of damage, but each one requires its own action to use. Ranged energy weapon doesn't require ammo. Range 500 foot. So it'll have a 500 foot range. 500 foot range energy weapon. Durable equals double. So I could take. I have three mods. I could triple down on durability. Can take up to. Can choose multiple up to your rank. Up to rank of mecha. So at second rank, I could choose this twice. So I can go from 40 to 120 hit points plus my pilot. But I won't. All I'll be is basically a tank. I can pick up a sword. I can pick up a shield. I can melee and bash at stuff. But I won't have anything else going for me. Let's see. Keen awareness, phase attack. When you make an attack roll against a target with less than full cover, you can ignore the cover and roll with advantage. And not roll with disadvantage. I think that feels better. Swift tools. If you use a tool, if the use of a tool would normally require an action, you can do so as an object interaction instead. Holy Hannah, that's fast. Let's go with
Integrated tools equals can use tinker, thief, crowbar, block and tackle. Integrated always can use
Tinker, Thief, Crowbar, Block, and Tackle tools.
there we go.
Block and Tackle isn't the tool.
There. So your ship is always equipped with the ability to utilize tinker, like your finger pops open and like there's a screwdriver, so you can work with like large scale machinery and stuff. Integrated tools. Let's see what else we got going on down here. First strike. There's a list of these that I want to offer some of these to the character. I don't want all these exploits, like all these things to be available. I want a small, to prevent decision paralysis, I want to create a very small suite of options that they can choose from.
Maneuvers, targeted attack. Make an attack with a ship melee weapon with advantage. So as a bonus action or an action, bonus action, I could already make attacks with, let's see, bonus action equals make an attack with a ship melee weapon with advantage. That works. Maneuvers are either magic action or bonus action. Coordinated attack. You can empower an ally that you can see or hear, that can see or hear you, to use their reaction to make an opportunity attack with advantage against a target you and your ally can both see. So that's good. Coordinated dash. You can empower an ally that you can see or hear, or you to use their reaction to move up to their movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. That's great. Goad. Target that you can see and that can see and hear you makes attacks against other targets other than you with disadvantage until the beginning of your next turn. And we can distract, which is target creature that you can see and hear you cannot take reactions until the beginning of your next turn. So I could distract and goad in the same round as an action and a bonus action. None of these things require any mana or resources to use. It's just once I install these as mods, these are just things that my ship can do. Maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense that like I need to have some sort of installation to goad, but this is just how we're utilizing resources in general. So like targeted attack, like you can make up narratives about how your mecha works to have all these things integrated into them. They're effectively like battle master type stuff that your ship gets. You become invisible until the beginning of your next turn. That's second rank. Ward, you gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing damage until the beginning of your next turn. That's super. Reactions, controlled crash. As a reaction to colliding, as in like falling, you can safely land instead, taking no damage. Holy Hannah, that's really good. As a reaction to colliding, you can make a pilot DC 15 test to safely land instead, taking no damage. Deflection. As a reaction to when a target you can see that is within reach of your melee attack hits with an attack roll, the attack is re-rolled, taking the new result. This re-roll cannot score a critical hit. And there we go. So we'll get rid of that comment. It doesn't matter. Downtrodden. As a reaction to when a target that you can see within range of your weapon attack becomes prone or scuttled, you can make an opportunity attack against it. Interpose. As a reaction to when an ally within reach of your melee weapon, your melee attacks takes damage from a source you can see, you can take any portion of the damage and gain resistance to it. Anticipate. As a reaction to when a target within reach of your weapon attack that you can see makes an attack roll against you, before they roll to hit, you may make an opportunity attack. Moving target. As a reaction to when a target you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make an attack, even if the target is using the disengage action or the movement is forced. Redirect. As a reaction to when a target within reach of your melee weapon that you can see hits another creature with an attack, you can redirect the attack to target another creature that you can see within reach of that attack using the same roll. We skip third rank for now. Strikes. Crippling strike. When you hit a target with your attack, as a bonus action, you cripple the target's movement. The target must use the dash action to move before the beginning of his next turn. Otherwise, its speed is 0. Disarming strike. When you hit a target with an attack, as a bonus action, you can attempt to disarm anything the target is holding. It must make a strength saving throw against your attack roll, or the target drops one item of your choice that it's holding in an adjacent space. Shocking strike. When you hit a target with an attack, as a bonus action, the target cannot take reactions until the beginning of your next turn. Thundering strike. When you hit a target with your attack, as a bonus action, you can choose to trip the target or push it up to 2 squares directly away from you. If you hit a target, bonus action, it glows, negates invisibility, concealment, and you have advantage on the attack. When you hit a target, right. So when you hit with your normal attack, as a bonus action, it starts to glow. Right. When you hit a target with your attack, as a bonus action, the target must make an intelligence saving throw, or it is confused until the beginning of the next turn. Roll 1d12 and compare the results to the table above. This is second rank? Holy shit. When you hit a target with your attack, as a bonus action, deal half damage to all adjacent targets of your choice. Let's make Bursting Strike second rank and Delusional Strike third. I think that feels better. We don't have to worry about third and fourth. Sustained powers. So, Blind Sense. You are aware of the location of any creature or object in the same plane of existence of you within 10 feet times your max rank of power. No, that doesn't work. You are aware of the location, the same existence as you within 2 squares. Times the max rank of the mech. So at second rank, that's 4 squares away, which is 200 foot. It's 200 foot Blind Sense. There we go. Power Shield. You create a defensive field of power that can be wielded as a shield that you are proficient with. The shield hovers in your space to protect you, leaving your hands free. The most your armor class gain from the shield is +3. You can benefit from 1 shield at a time. I like that one. These require mana to activate. Ongoing effects require 1 mana equal to its rank. Is that the right way to do this? Hold on. Let's check it out. Grappling combat. While sustaining this power, when you hit a creature with a melee weapon, you can choose to grapple it. Elemental resistance. When you channel this power, choose one type. Reduce the damage time taken in. You can channel this power more than once simultaneously. We got 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2, and then we got 1. Unnatural resistance, elemental resistance, grappling combat. Those are good. Stance, power, blind sense. Okay, yeah, these take 1 mana each. Sustained ongoing effects require 1 mana each. So at second rank, I have a mana battery of 2. So my wizard could turn on rogue, like Power Shield, for instance,
to get a +3 bonus to armor class, and then leave 1 point open to amplify spell casting. Or I could have no mods. Actually, yeah, I get 3 mods, but I only get 2 points of mana. So like if I wanted to be able to cast a spell, like if I wanted to amplify a spell to affect mecha size, I need 1 point of mana. And then if I like wanted counter spell up to like a 300-foot range instead of a 30-foot range, I would need to have a point available to amplify that. That's 2 points I've spent already. If I had like Misty Step, that would allow me to jump 200 feet instead of 20 feet with my mecha included. That would also require a point. That's 3 points of mana that I would have to spend to be able to amplify and then propel my ship. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take that mana. I could, instead of using the mana crystal, the mana supply off of the ship, I could use my own mana supply. But again, we only have 1 long rest each week. So I don't necessarily want to burn through a bunch, like using the short rest Warlock mechanic we have, our 5th level wizard only has 5 mana per short rest. If I cast Magic Missile and then tack on an amplified spell out of my own spell point pool, out of my 5 points, I only have 3 points left now. So I'm going to want to use my mana battery off of my mecha to pay for these amplified spell effects because I don't have a lot of spell effects going on with my ship. And if I want to do like cantrip pew pew range damage, I'm going to have to pick that up as a mod. We only have 3 mods at this level. We have plenty of things to do with it. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and leave all these maneuvers open for people to pick up. But each one of these is something that they can amplify their mecha with doing. There's plenty of options, but they're only limited to 1st and 2nd rank. Mods, 2. We'll go first. Let's do rank. And there is only 4th rank. There is no 4th rank. There is no 5th rank in this system. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a nice tight little set of mods. Spell and Fire, powers, blaster, integrated tools. Sealed. Helm equals can traverse water and poisoned sea without disrupting while retaining clean air. A mecha can only carry one day supply of air on itself. So while it's in normal air in the clustered region of space where the air supply is good, not a problem. But if they fly out into the poison sea, the air envelope immediately gets poisoned. I guess it doesn't really matter. It can traverse water and poison sea while retaining clean air. With this modification, when you travel into the poison sea, your air supply is automatically poisoned unless you have a sealed helm, like a sealed environment around your ship. So that the fighter craft are small enough that it's just the helm that needs, like the cockpit needs to be protected. Not like on a vessel. Like a hammerhead ship, for instance, you would have to have the entire air bubble encased to prevent the whole ship from being fouled. So these mods aren't available for vessels currently. It's just for the mecha that we're building. But I like that. It's a nice, tight little set of shit. I think it works pretty good. So that's the mecha. That's taken care of. And oof, it's almost 9 o'clock. So I'm happy with that. So we now have it. There's a little bit of building that goes along with it, but you build your character like normal. You get your extra hit points. You deal your extra dice of damage, 3x dice. I should probably put a space in there. There. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. So that's a decent place for us to start with our mecha. I'm really happy with that. Let's see, we get resistances that are available. We get damage reduction, which is good. We get the resistances. We get the durability. Spell amplifiers there. The powers allow us to pick shit from down below. The blaster gives us the 500-foot range energy cantrip. Integrated tools allows us to do tinker and thief stuff. Like if we're dealing like we're 20-foot mecha. If we're dealing with cloud giants that are 50 feet tall and we're trying to break into their home, they're going to have colossal-sized locks. We need to have integrated tools so that we can have thief picks and tinker tools large enough to be able to manipulate the locking mechanisms or whatever that are inside the storm giant's home. So it's actually really necessary. Maybe we'll have a threat of giants somewhere. That might be fun. Integrated tools, sealed helm. Yeah, I think that's a good stack. That's a really, really good stack. So I am perfectly content with that. Back into our campaign here. It sounds like my music stopped. Let's scroll down here. Let's see. Scaver's Cove was attacked by giant pirates. Storm giants dealing 6 BP of damage. So let's look at random kaiju random violence. Oh, we'll make a list later. Let's go with storm giants. Pirates of Lazar. Let's go with Pack of Scavers. Let's see, Space Kraken. A 200-foot Space Kraken. Pack of Scavers. Pirates of Lavar. Vessel plus Mecha. Storm Giant Raiders. On Kendori mounts. "40-foot giants," we'll call them that. Pack of Scavers, Space Kraken. What's some other cool shit that could happen? We'll do we'll do 20 Dark Mantles. Pod of Dark Mantles. 20-foot colossal, gargantuan sized Dark Mantles. That's fun. Beholdership. Illithid Raiders. 200-foot slaver vessel. Plus mecha. Let's see. Ice Elementals from Frisia. 50 to 200 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I need a couple more. What? How about poison methods? And I'm thinking of Fernia, the moon dropping off enemies over on Fernia. So you have Fernia and Frisia that swing close in orbit. So here's where we're located at. Here's Fernia, 2 squares over. Here's Frisia, basically 1 square over. So we have both fire and ice elemental stuff happening, which is why you have the ice elementals. They've actually taken control of this zone. There's actually ice elementals in this zone right here, adjacent to our community, which is why we've got that dark space here. This is the zone of control that the ice elementals have right now in our adjacent square, and their expanse is so far that it's dampening and chilling the crops that are in 1, 2, and 3. So they're becoming too cold. Everyone has to migrate over to 4, 5, and 6, and that process has began until either the ice elementals go away or we all adapt and just move, or the team figures out some way to stop the poison sea from freezing as it is. Poison methods come from the poison sea. They're like ash methods, but they're more ippy. I need at least one more. Scavers, Kandori Riders of Storm Giants. School of Jellyfish. 30 foot in size. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'll work. It's good enough for now until we flesh it out further. That's a decent random table of violence. We're going to come back and we're going to work on this some more on Thursday night. And we're going to be back tomorrow morning working on more Eberron adventure art. For those that are interested in checking that out in the morning. God bless you for showing up and swinging through and checking this stuff out. So here's our random combat lists. We flesh out a little bit more of what's happening in the community here with Scaver's Cove. We have our process for determining who gets attacked and for how long based on the wealth lifestyle of that location. Oh, excuse me, running low. We got our mecha figured out, our mecha battery supply, so we can now build full mecha. So we come back on Thursday, we'll probably build some mecha. Maybe we can flesh out some more creatures to have on our list, just some more random shit. That might be fun to include. We get those built out. So build out the kaiju, build out some actual mecha designs, and then we'll flesh out community 1, 2, and 3 more fully. So our entire cluster is resolved, and then we can start building out the pirates, our neighboring cluster, the Unseelie Court, Droam, and whatever that distant community is that's allied with us. So we have 5 communities to build out. 7 with all the different small settlements that we have. So we can do that on Thursday and then again on Monday. By the following Thursday, that'll be Thanksgiving. I won't be here. I'll be with family and friends. But we'll be back the following Monday for sure. And then we'll probably start fleshing out event tables. Event tables and community resources is what we're going to be building on Thursday this week, and then Monday the following week, and then that should probably be all done by then. And then I think we can start looking at more points of interest in the region that might draw the characters to go explore those, just to flesh out different locations that are inside the cluster that are easy for the characters to get to an adventure inside of. We also need a Kyber table for when we delve too deep into an asteroid to extract minerals. That will also potentially create 5-foot scale dungeon adventures where the characters aren't in their mecha and are doing a classic dungeon delve into caverns and mineral mines to fight monsters that have been discovered when the dwarves delve too deep. So we'll have to build out that table, a refined event table that we'll probably get to on Monday next week. We got a lot of stuff to go, but I think this should be plenty fleshed out by the time we get around to this and actually launching the campaign in February. And then on Saturday this weekend coming up, we're going to work on the martial power system some more. We're going to work on the Ranger scaffold, and we're going to rebuild the Beastmaster companions, so that the companions include Drake, so we don't have to have a separate subclass for Drake Warden versus Beastmaster, which are essentially the same thing. We're just going to expand on what kind of companions we can create with that subclass, and then we're going to convert that into a sustained power that any character can have. Like our Barbarian can sustain a summoned pet, and if we do, then we can basically pick up that subclass feature from the Beastmaster. But the Beastmaster can do so much with their companions, while we're just basically going to have a sidearm companion with some extra hit points. So it's going to be a little different. But that is another sustained power that we can create. Summon ally, basically. Summon companion is basically what we'll call that power. Which should help feed into the Necromancer Dreadlord Paladin idea. I think we'll have a lot of fun fleshing that out. So that's inspired by the Oathbreaker, actually, that just came out in the UA recently. We're going to lean into that. So that's it for now, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here. I'll see some of you guys in the morning for more Eberron artwork. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys on Thursday night when we continue working on this Bastion campaign for Spelljammer Eberron Orbits. And thanks a lot for everybody that came through today. I really appreciate you guys. So I'll see you later. Bye.